I'll start with XRP. Okay, so here's the 15-minute arc, and again we're still playing out all this consolidation, and there's this impulse here, yeah. So I'm looking to see about the correction, and the correction down here is at 29.97, about 30 cent. So I'm looking to see, there's a battle going on about whether this is going to go up or down, but this is an impulse that's complete. Here's its correction. Here's 05, is potentially this could be the correction and up it goes, but XRP for the most part always has a tendency to go to 786, or has been lately. So I'm looking at the 786 really as the test to see what it wants to do, yeah. I think this is a consolidation phase. It's really pulling people in as well. And we'll have a look at why I think it's going to go down, yeah. And just a thought, just a simple one here, is if I take just the length of this, just a simple one, because again, this line when it gets broken is, and I put it here like this, is the target down here is 25.67. Now there's other ways that I've come to this, but that's just a very simple one, yeah. So I'm just going to remind you of this line here that we were looking at earlier on, and you can see that this white trend line from here, and it broke out, dropped back into it, spilled. Again, here's the impulse correction, drop, impulse correction, drop, back into it again. Here's the big drop sideways, breaks out again, drops, goes sideways along this red line, it drops again, and we're back onto this white line again. So for sure we could be dropping back in. We could be dropping back in. Could be dropping back in, and as a shocker is we could be dropping back in, and worst case scenario is we head down to this line down here, believe it or not. If Bitcoin does its major drop and goes to 12,000, something like this, XRP would be going down to 9 or 10 cent. If that were to happen, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but for here is, you can see this drop here would take us down onto this yellow line. So again, if I just go to the 4 hour so you can see it, is you can see this, maybe I've got it onto the daily, you can see this trend line here, you can see this trend line here, and we broke it again, and then you can see another one here. So this one here is, this would bring us down to 26. So you can see all the touches along here, yeah. So this could bring us down. You can also notice there's a wick here. So you can imagine if we broke this and put a wick down, we'd be hitting down here, yeah. And we would also be wicking down to the previous bottom of the bear market about here, yeah. We'd be coming all the way back down there, yeah. If the big if it did that, yeah. So now partly how it might do that is this chart I was showing you. This chart I was showing you, to find it now, excuse me. Is it this one? No, not that one. Where is it now? Sorry guys. Getting lost in my charts. This one. It's not that one. I think it might be this one. Okay. Yeah, I had it on the 15 minutes. Yeah, this one here. Ah, damn it. No, it's not this one. Where is it? Oh, no. It's one of these. Ah, for God's sake, it's this one. It was this one. Sorry. So if you can just ignore all those blue lines just for a sec, yeah. Actually, I'll move them all out. Sorry, Mihaela, I know I said I'd be fast, but I am going to be fast. So I was talking about this previously and coming up here like this, and just the wave pattern, and you can see this is the center line. So now it's come up, we broke here. Now the next line down is again the 26 mark, yeah? And then this line here, this support line, equally this support and center, this center line support and resistance supports 26 as well. And all the consolidation that's going on at the moment is if it drops down, it's giving it lots of power to get down there. Yeah. However, this is what I'm trying to suggest to you now. If it broke this 26 line, the next line down is this. It's this here. Next line down is here. We could end up hitting the wave up and then having the wave come all the way back down to here, yeah. And that would be like 96.5% correction from the top here, yeah. And that's what bear markets do with altcoins. So it is plausible. Is it going to happen? I don't know, but I'm just saying it's plausible, yeah. But I think 26, if we break down 26, is definitely the target, yeah. So that's what I think there. Let me just put all these back on. Took me a long time to put all them on. Okay, so now let's get a little bit more what's going on right now, yeah. So the EMAs here, there's a battle going on with the EMAs, yeah. So when I go into the 1 hour, you can see that the 1 hour was being challenged twice today, and it's setting up, maybe even today and yesterday, a lot of consolidation here, yeah. And it looks like it's a turn, and it could be a turn. I don't think it is, but it could be a turn. But this impulse here, if we're looking for the correction, you can see this hour there's a strong rejection here, yeah. So now the battle that was going on was challenging the 20 on the hour. The 15 EMA had turned up here, crossed over, but again it was from a deep place, so it got tired. Correction kicked in. It broke here, which is a really good sign for a big spill, a good 15% spill, and then it took a whopper of a sprint up here. Now what it did was, on the 15 minute, it brought the stock 15 minute back up, which is what it needed to do. So now look, the stock is heading back down again, and it needed to come up for a bit of air so that it can pull it back down again. So you can see it pulling it back down, and again it's looking to break the VWAP. So I think when we see the VWAP getting broken, and this 15 minute continuing on down, is we're heading for a bigger drop, yeah. And I do believe it will break below. It will break below the 786 here at 30 cent. Excuse me. But I'll be watching it very, very closely to make sure it does, yeah. So that's what I'm looking at there. And when I go to the MAs, the 12 hour turned. So the 12 hour turned an hour and a half ago. And here we go here. Okay, so the 12 hour turn. Now what's been happening with the daily lately and the 12 hour, let me just hide these because there we go. The 12 hour turned. So on the daily, what's been happening the last couple of days is the start of the day is green, and then the second half of the day turns red. So this was green, it pushed up here, but by the end of the day it got all the way down here. So again, there was a push down here early on this morning. It came back up green, you know, and now it looks like there's a push down, and looks like we're going to get one of these, yeah. So you can see the 12 hour turned, and there's the 5. So wicked up to the 5 EMA here, and again I think there's going to be a rejection, yeah. Now when you flow down through them, you can see the 5 is pushing on the 12. The VWAP's a bit sideways. You see the VWAP is sort of holding on here. The 9 is pushing. The 8 is pushing. And you can look at it and go, God, this looks like a turn. This looks like it could turn. And it could. But I don't think it will, simply because, and again, here's the 6. Looks like a little turn here, teasing people. But look at the 10 coming down here. Is the 10 is challenging. But when you come down onto the 4, is now look what's going on with the 4. The 10 has come down here and is putting its weight on this, plus the 5, and the VWAP's looking like it could spill. So the 4 is in a position for a fantastic spill. Okay. The 3, as much as the 5 and 10 are slightly up here, I think they're slightly up to be resistance, is again, they're ready for a fantastic spill. So here's the impulse, here's the correction down, and it doesn't look like they're going to stop here. Yeah. Plus the 20 MAs are up here on the 3 coming down. Yeah. On the 2, again, you have the 20s coming down strong. Here's the 5 and the 10 turned down. The only thing that's left is the VWAP. The VWAP needs to get out of the way. So I think part of what's gone on with the VWAP is the VWAP was holding this consolidation. And it's been a long one in the nature of what's been going on the last couple of days, is that when this breaks, I think it's going to be a big push down. Yeah. And again, here's the 10, the 20, the 5. They're all looking like they're ready to go. Yeah. If they were going to go up, is I think a simple target. I don't think it is, but I think a simple target up here will be up around the 200 on the hourly, which would be about 37.5. But I don't think that's going to happen. So that's the MAs. Is I've put this little channel on. This red channel, and you can see it. You can see it coming down. Yeah. So again, the consolidation, if it comes back into it, is quite possible. We get a nice drop down to somewhere around 27.8 is again another resistance, and then another drop down, and we start heading down maybe to around 26. That's what I'm thinking, and that would facilitate this big consolidation and a drop. What it does after that again is we got to see. And one final thing, because I wanted to say this earlier on, is I have had this for months now, and on the previous, here's the previous bull run, here's the final dump before the pump, 68.36% of a drop. It was a flash drop, boom. Okay, here's the second run, and here's the dump before the pump, 67.46. So now here we are, a pump. Can't really call this a bull run because it hasn't broken this one. In fact, to be really honest, I think, see this bull run here? You see the bottom of the bear market there? You see this here? It's still part of this bull run. It's still part of it. It hasn't broken this. This is a mountain skyline, mountain peak. We're coming down for third drop, final peak, final bounce. And when we break above this, that's when XRP's next bull run is, which will be more likely around late 22, early 23. I don't think this is an XRP bull run at all. Yeah, but we are in an impulse, and here is a correction. Now it has gone to the final drop before the pump of this impulse. It has dropped to 67.38 on this line. So now, if it was going to go to 67 or 68.50, which is the previous one, 68.50 would be 28,900. Is 67.5, 68.5? What about 69.5? 69.5 would be 27,900. So again, about 28. 28.9 to 28. So 28 to 29 is would facilitate this, yeah. So that's the question I'm asking: is does it want to follow this pattern here and do a similar drop, and then that's it, and then up it goes, yeah. There are support lines here, and I've put more in all the way through here. So these support lines here, they're relevant. And they're setting these targets. Like look at this support line here, touches here, here, and here. This one happens to break it, so now we come on to the next one, and it just happens to touch it. So we break this, again, look at the support line here, look at the support line here. These are real support lines. If this wanted to really spill and break through these support lines, I've done these ones as well, and back to, where is it? I'm not going to go through all again, but that's where all these lines came from. Now this is I've transferred them to, this is a Bybit page, that one was the other one was a Bitstamp. So this is Bybit, which doesn't hold the same history, but I've mapped them over. And again, this would be the spill. So all these blue lines support the spill, and this wave coming all the way up, and this support line is 1 at 26. But if you start to see this break with a bit of conviction and start heading into the early 20s, we could be getting a very sharp drop and just boom, it could be. So just watch out for it, yeah. But for now, I think it's just figuring its way out to drop down. So that's me, Mihaela, the quickest 5 minutes of my life. I'm flying at this timeline, or this timekeeping.
Very good, right. That was exactly 5 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah. I think I might have had a few seconds left, to be honest. But I said I'm not gonna hog the time. Okay, so do you want to share a page?
Yes, I will. Okay. Now, I will be very quick.
But where's your page? You got to share your page, and I got to put it up.
I'm waiting for this page to go live.
Ah, very good. Okay, so that's you, and I'll go on mute.
Super. Okay, so I will be very quick because we haven't done too much since this morning. We're still in the same situation. It appears the structure on the 1 hour appears to be of an inverted head and shoulders. So that was one of the scenarios that we looked at this morning. This as a structure is not confirmed until the neck is broken. So that's what sets apart a neck and shoulders structure from just sideways consolidation. We need to see the neckline get broken, and the neckline is a little bit weird because it will be sort of like an inclined slope. So we need to see this get broken to see the lift as a possibility. And we need to see some support initially on the 1 hour for the M8. So we have been rejected by the 20 on the 1 hour. We are below, I think, the 5 or somewhere around the 5 MA on the 1 hour. And this to me looks a bit like a trap. So it looks as if it's recovering. It looks as if it's holding its previous low, and it's going to push up. It might push up, but this, in my opinion, is the least likely scenario. It hasn't convinced me that this is a valid, consistent push-up. And the reason why I'm saying that is, here's the page with this morning's patterns. So it came back, it retested the 414, which is great for consolidation. It hasn't come back to test the 20,800 or 7,000 or 700. But what we see here on the volume is a slightly decreasing volume. So I know we've had this lift, and then we had like a bit of accumulation, and then we had a little bit of another lift, and then candles started coming down. And again, we would have a bit of a volume divergence here. I'm trying to stabilize my page so that you see both the price action. So candles are coming down here in the recent 15 minutes, while price is going up, which generally means this lift is not sustainable. Now, I would be a bit more convinced if something along the lines of the 20,700 happened. So we consolidated very neatly here at the 1414, which again, it might be consolidation for the lift. But had we come closer to the previous low, kept it and bounced off it with some nice volume, I would have been a bit more convinced that it might come up. Whatever the situation, I'm still looking at the same levels for invalidation. I'm going to put it a bit more conservatively here, somewhere around here. We have to be cautious about longs because accounts can be liquidated very fast these days. There's a lot of volatility. So this would be the neckline. To put a price label on it, the 23,000. So breaking the 23,000, holding the 23,000, and breaking above the previous high here in the middle of what would be a W would be the confirmation for me that it is going up, and it would be holding the 1212. So not just the 1414, but the 11272. Sorry. Now the invalidation of this structure would be the opposite. Coming below the previous 20,800, let's say, holding below it, and then breaking the 20,000 or 20,100 mark. So that would be the invalidation, and that would have the potential to lead it further down. And if I am to put a target to this, again, as I showed you this morning, that would be about 18,400. 19,000 would be the next level. So I would be carefully watching what happens here around the 23,000 mark to see if it gets rejected or if it gets or if it holds. It might be sideways. Like we might be moving sideways for a day or two just to collect a little bit more orders and then head either way. In which case, if you don't have either confirmation or invalidation, I suggest you wait and save your money. Don't pay the trading fees for 2 days of sideways if you're not already in a trade. If you are already in a short, watch to see again what happens there. You might want to take profit if you see the 23,000 holding, or you might want to let it run to see what happens for the second leg down. I do anticipate a deeper leg. It's this to me is too neat. It's almost looks like a trap to me. Now, Ethereum is in a similar situation. So this is Ethereum. This is Ethereum from this morning's levels, and we have again what looks to be like a reverse head and shoulder structure with a potential to break upwards, but we haven't actually done too much. Like we've come down to the level of the shoulder, very neat, super neat. I'm not saying neatness doesn't happen in crypto, of course it does. I am just looking to see if the neckline at 12,060 something gets broken, and if it holds for support upwards. If it does hold for support upwards, I am looking at the next level around the 1350 range.
You mean 1,200? You said 12,000.
Oh, sorry, 1,200. The 1250. So if it holds the 1250, I'm looking at the 1350 range for a bigger, better, stronger support. And then again, moving upwards, maybe the 1520 to 1550. Again, I'm not very convinced. it looks very neat. It's only done a first one leg down. There hasn't been a stop loss hunt yet. I am very suspicious of this structure that looks bullish. I would be very suspicious, and I would be waiting for confirmation on the 1 hour of that level. If the 1 hour holds, chances are a little bit higher to go upwards. If the 1 hour doesn't hold, then it looks like this is collecting orders for a pull down, because we do have levels below that could be revisited. So the next level down would be below the leg of the 1100. So if the 1100 doesn't hold, the next level would be around 900. I am looking at that being a possibility because the stochastic on the 1 hour is slightly exhausted, and there's not too much divergence because momentum has been so volatile, going up and down. There is a slight bearish divergence between where is it? This peak and this peak, just slight, as in this one looks almost like on the same level. But again, it's a slight decrease of momentum, whereas they seem to be holding around the same number. So this is 1235 and this is 1221. There is a bit of a slope here. So I would be very cautious right now. If I were in a short, I would be looking to take some profit at the 1100 range, because that might be a double bottom. In order, if I were in a long, I'd check to see what happens here at the midline, and if it does get rejected, I would be careful to close the position, because it might be pushed away from that range very quickly. And I would set a stop loss. Like, I would set a stop loss, because if it gets rejected here, chances are it's going to go for a deeper correction. That's it for Bitcoin and Ethereum for the start of the New York session. I'll see you tonight for the overview of the weekly, and I hope to have more information for you. Thanks.
That's smashing. Thanks, Mihaela. Super duper. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day, and let's see what happens. And if anybody has any questions now, let's spend a couple of minutes